Hi, my name is Don Ross, and this is my story. I came to Christ when I was exactly 5 years old. Now, that may seem like a very uneventful testimony in terms of coming to Christ, but for me, it was pretty meaningful. I still remember the details 50 years later. I remember what I was wearing. I remember my dad's prayer. I remember that he was on the left side of me. I remember the question that he asked me. In fact, it was my father's leading me to Christ that I remembered so distinctly at age 5 that was the model for me leading my children to Christ. Now, periodically throughout my life, I remember distinct times when I had encounters with God. I remember at age 11 responding to the Spirit in my life, again at age 15, and again at age 18. So there are high points in my walk with Christ in my early life that I remember that He touched my heart deeply. I remember very distinctly in September of 1973 when He called me into the ministry in the scripture that He gave me out of 1 Timothy. And I believe that there are high points in all of our lives where we really connect with Christ. So you may think today that you really don't have much of a story because Jesus didn't seem to save you from a whole lot in terms of evil. You know, I can share that response. What do we have to tell that is so marvelous in what we were saved from? And here's the conclusion I came to as I was preparing to give my own story. It doesn't matter whether you spent 20 years in prison or you've never visited anybody in jail. It doesn't matter if you did drugs, committed terrible crimes, or you still don't know what marijuana smells like. It really doesn't matter. Lost is lost. And we can look good on the outside and still be lost on the inside. And man, that's where I was. And I knew it. At age 5, I knew it. Now, here for me is the most marvelous part of my entire story. And that is what Jesus did for me was so clear and so distinct that I remember it deeply as a 5-year-old boy. That underscores the incredible power that every person who works with children at Creekside has on those young lives. I'll never remember, or never, excuse me, I'll never forget a story that my dad told me, about a young boy coming to Christ and a man in his 60s coming to Christ. And they came to Christ at the same time, and the pastor looked and said, "There is a life and a half given to Christ." And a deacon standing by nearby said, "Absolutely. That young child has an entire life to give to Christ." And that man is well over half of his life spent. So regardless, I want to encourage you today to share your story because every one of our stories makes a difference in other people's lives. And that's my story.